Good day, brothers and sisters. This is Anthony Moore for Your Money More from the Freedmen Descendants of Chicago, formerly known as ADOS Chicago. And today we are going to talk about the violence as a health crisis and disease bill that we as an organization helped get our governor here in Illinois to pass, and we even helped craft some of the language in it. The governor in question is multi-billionaire Democrat J.B. Pritzker, who inherited all this money, who we call J.B. I wouldn't be governor without the black vote Pritzker. Now, we also are advocating for him to sign an executive order, the 1619 Rapid Relief Executive Order, which is policy targeted primarily toward black people with a specific focus on those of us who have descended from U.S. chattel slaves. But let's talk about this violence as a health crisis and disease bill. And we actually shortened it to violence as a health crisis, but it still focuses on treating violence as the disease that it is, as well as the health crisis that we all know it to be. All you gotta do is turn on the news. All you gotta do is pick up the paper, and you can see how horrible and terrible this violence is. And so we had a bill that this governor actually passed in April 2021 to treat violence as the health crisis and disease that it is, because insanity is doing the same thing the same way, expecting different results. We need different results, so let's do things differently. The way that it is being done ain't working, so can we at least try something different, try something new? But it's a lot of people that have a vested interest in not doing things different. But that's what's required, and that's what time it is. But see, we, the people, have to demand it. The time, I mean, if it never has been a time to just sit back and let things happen. But even if it ever was a time to sit back and let things happen, now is not that time. With society crumbling all around us, our democracy is hanging on the thread, whether you realize it or not. And what's going to determine whether we survive, whether we thrive, is if enough everyday people fight and advocate for what's right. Just so you know. But let's go back to this violence and health crisis and disease bill, because even though, as I said, we were fortunate enough to contribute to getting the governor to sign it, and shout out to Pastor Anthony Williams. The bill was his brainchild, and he brought us on as the Freedmen Descendants of Chicago to help get it over the finish line. Both he and the president of our organization, Marlon Watson, were at the signing in April 2021 of that bill, the Violence as a Health Crisis bill, when Pritzker signed it. It was on the news and everything. But here's the thing. It's one thing to get policy that's going to benefit the people, such as this, passed. It's one thing to get it passed. It's another thing to get it enforced, especially if it is something that is genuinely going to help the people. Now, it's an accomplishment to get it passed, but you still gotta make sure that it's enforced, and that it's enforced the right way, because a lot of these politicians are lazy and they're not trying to do anything extra because they figure it's extra work. Talk about a sense of entitlement. Talk about how they falling down on the job, but we already know that, because most of them are sold off and bought off. And so they got they prioritize serving their masters that they set out to, that instead of serving the people who they've been elected to serve. And we have that all around us. It transcends political party. And that's something we got to push back and do something about, or otherwise things will get worse. And they're getting worse. But I just want to say, I know we in America, we are programmed, people are programmed to be against anything that's specifically for black people who have descended from freedmen. In other words, for black people who have descended from slaves. I know by default, it's not just white folks. People are programmed to be against anything that they feel is going to benefit specifically black folks who have descended from U.S. chattel slavery. But guess what, racists? Guess what, people who going by racist programming? This violence is a health crisis and disease bill is for Illinois. Now, even though the 1619 Rapid Relief Executive Order is targeted toward black folks, and it's anti-black, anti-descendant of U.S. chattel slavery, racism, that got to change. Or otherwise, this democracy will not survive. But good news, racists. The violence is a health crisis and disease bill. That's for everybody. That's for Illinois as a whole, not just black folks, not just people who have descended from U.S. chattel slaves. But because if there's some maybe Southern Illinoisan white racists out there saying stuff like this, there they go. Once again, them blacks out there seeking government to do stuff they can do for their damn self. I mean, come on, government. That's all they know. They want government to do every damn thing. They want government to tie their shoes. They want government to wake them up in the morning. I mean, now they talking about treating violence as a health crisis and a disease. Most want another government handout. Want government do something they should be doing on their own. I mean, come on, man. They just because. I mean, they need to get this violent thing under control, y'all. I mean, hey, why y'all want government to do what y'all can do yourselves? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, them black folk out there in Chicago. I'm a white man from Southern Illinois, and I just see all throughout Illinois, but especially in Chicago. I mean, they out of control with this violence. I mean, they be killing kids. I mean, innocent kids be getting killed in them shootouts and stuff. Now, one of my good friends, he killed some kids, but hell, at least he killed his own kids. He killed his own kids, and then he killed himself. But they killed other people's kids. Yeah. And now they want government. And that government's supposed to bail them out because they can't control themselves. Okay, I mean, come on, man. Want government to do everything. I mean, government. Don't y'all, I wish they understood that capitalism is the best system out here in the world, and we got it. Now, this capitalist system, best system in the world, what they tell me on Fox News, yeah, this capitalist system is the best system in the world, caused me to lose my farm. I had a farm that had some valuable minerals, able to make a nice living from it. Yes, I was. But the likes of the Koch brothers, they stole my stuff. But they was able to hide behind lawyers and get away with it. Now, we had a government that actually stood up for the little man, that actually pushed back on corporate power, that actually pushed back on the rich and the greedy. I still have my little old farm, be able to make a nice living, but hey, those are the breaks, boy, capitalism. Hey, it's survival of the fittest. It's about who got the biggest bridges. They had bigger bridges than me, so that's just, hey, what happened just happened. Off my farm. Yeah, and then I had to work 80 hours a week at Walmart. Now these damn socialists out here, these so-called progressives, they got a thing that they call a liberal wage. You work 40 hours a week, you supposed to be able to make a liberal wage. I was working 80 hours a week, and I couldn't afford, I had to get my leg cut off. Cause I couldn't afford to pay for the medical care. I was working 80 hours a week. Hey, that's capitalism. Hey, if capitalism say the work you do don't afford you a liberal wage, then damn it, that's just what it is. That's just what it be. So I lost my leg. Now, of course, we had a government that provided and facilitated affordable health care instead of this health care system that we got now that just gouges all kind of prices at all kind of costs and shoots prices through the roof. Now, we had a government that actually sponsored healthcare and facilitated affordable healthcare, not free healthcare, I would still have my leg. But then that would be government having too much control. We can't have none of that now, can we? Okay, and so now I don't have my leg. Might have to get my arm cut off. Yeah, so this capitalist system already cost me a leg. Might literally cost me an arm and a leg. But it's the best system in the world. Oh, yes, it is. Damn socialists. Now let me turn back to Fox News and find out what's going on in the world. But check this out, brothers and sisters. It ain't just white folks that think like that. A lot of black folks think that government is bad because the government that we have is bad. And hell yeah, if you judging it by the standards of the government that we have in the United States and it transcends Democrat or Republican, because guess what? I'm not for Democrats or Republicans because neither one of them are for us. Both of them are sold off, bought off, corrupted corporate parties that serve the rich and the powerful, that serve the elites at the expense of the masses, at the expense of the people, at the expense of the very people who they are elected to serve. And the fallout and all the chaos and all the things we see today is a byproduct and reflection of that. And of course, the government that we have is bad, but that don't mean government itself is bad. All government fundamentally is people coming together in an organized way to, for one, have laws so that they can get along, to maximize progress, maximize output, and working together in a way that maximizes the benefits of all the people. So to say government is bad just because our government is bad, that's, as the saying goes, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. No, our government is bad, and if you want this government to change, we got to change it. And yes, it's an uphill battle, but one thing, if we don't do nothing, it definitely won't change. At least if we do something, there's a chance. Because it's not, if we don't do nothing and just let it go how it's going, it will get worse. But because to not have any kind of functioning government, that's anarchy. I mean, to have an idea of what it is to not have any functioning government, just look at the television show The Walking Dead, which is about the zombie apocalypse, where there's no widespread functioning government, and it's just like the wild, wild west, all everywhere. It's not a pretty sight. I don't think it's a world that too many of us want to live in. But these politicians play games. And our Governor Pritzker, JB, I wouldn't be governor without the black vote, Pritzker, is a textbook example of that as relates to this violence as a health crisis bill. Because during the same year that he passed that bill, 2021, later that year he launched an initiative to treat gun violence as a health crisis. So of course he got that idea from us because he wasn't talking about treating violence as a health crisis, which it in fact and indeed is, which is the way we need to treat it because it's a disease. And the thing about America is that America is all about treating the symptoms as opposed to actually curing the disease. And they do that a lot of times to maintain control and to keep people getting people money. But in order to actually do things effectively, you have to get to the root causes. The same way that you have to do that for any disease such as cancer, you have to do that for the disease of violence. But now, like I said, late in 2021, he launched an initiative treating gun violence as a health crisis. Now think about that. That's an agenda because violence includes all kind of violence. Gun violence, because do we just want to stop gun violence? I want to stop all violence, whether it's gun violence, knife violence, hand-to-hand combat violence, kick you in the stomach violence, domestic violence. So why just limit it to guns? Okay, that's like somebody who agrees to clean your whole house and then say, "No, I'm just gonna clean one room." So the fact that he made it about guns instead of just about violence as a whole showed this agenda that they have, which is not about serving the people. It's about getting votes. It's about triggering people's emotions. They don't care nothing about gun control, really. I don't think. They know it's going to trigger people's emotion and it's going to get votes. But ask these people, do they have guns? Pritzker, do you have all these Democrats that's talking about they want to take your guns all day, every day? I bet you a lot of them have a whole bunch of guns. Because they believe, they don't believe in practicing what they preach. And like I said, I'm not for Democrats or Republicans because neither one of them are for us. But on the flip side, the Republicans a lot of them are way extreme on guns. So you get both sides of the equation. You get Democrats that's extreme on taking people guns, and Republicans that's extreme on having people keep their guns, and they all doing it to get votes as opposed to serving the people because it's all about nuance, and it's a very nuanced issue because, like I said, a lot of them Republicans and them people on that side, they real extreme with them guns. They don't want no restrictions. They be like, them Democrats want to take away our guns. Our Second Amendment rights guaranteed that we can have guns. Everybody over the age of 18 should have a gun if they want to have a gun. I don't care if the boy is schizophrenic and he escaped from a mental asylum. Yeah. And he thinks he lives on a planet called Nebula with creatures that nobody can see but him. If that boy want a gun, he should have a gun, damn it. It's his Second Amendment right. And like I said, a lot of them are that extreme and that kind of crazy. But then Democrats always talking about, it ain't about, it's about treating violence. It's about treating the root cause. But they ain't about treating the root cause. They ain't about treating nothing. They about getting elected just like the Republicans are. So they're going to take it from violence as a whole to focusing on guns when guns themselves are not the ultimate problem. It's the violence that leads people to use guns in violent ways. Because if we treated violence, people can have guns and they wouldn't be used in violent ways. Whereas if we got rid of all the guns but we didn't treat the underlying causes of violence, we'd still have violence. People would adapt. You would see a whole lot more bows and arrows and all kind of people, slingshots. People would get creative. And the thing about it is by taking the focus from violence as a whole to making it on guns, you have people who are staunch gun advocates who would support treating violence as a health crisis and disease because they understand the problem of violence. But then when you make it about guns, you lose a lot of those people who otherwise would support the ultimate cause, the underlying causes of violence, and not just something that's done to get votes and trigger people's emotions to get votes. So come on, y'all. So yeah, I'm about to sign off. Anthony Moore for Your Money More. Freedmen Descendants of Chicago. Finances, Health Crisis, and Disease Bill, 1619 Rapid Relief Executive Order. Click the links in the description box. Like, subscribe, click that notification bell, comment. Peace.